Hello, Fantasy Manager, and welcome to the FPL Cougars show. I'm Chris.
I'm Kieran.
And today we are previewing Gameweek 9. In the show, we'll be analysing each upcoming Gameweek fixture, predicting the potential key players, differentials, and working out where the clean sheets might come from. We will be discussing captaincy, revealing our teams, including Kieran's Wildcard team. Are you excited about that? Sorry, I gave like a pause, like you were going to go, yeah! But, okay. No, yeah, you're not that excited about it, are you? Stressed?
I'm stressed, yeah. Okay. Very stressed.
So we're going to look at that, differentials, Cuckoo Cub picks. We're going to pick them for Game Week 9. And all the other good fun stuff we usually talk about. So because we did a show last Friday and we recapped our Manager of the Week from Game Week 8 and Cubs, we're not doing that tonight. We're going straight into the fixtures. And when we do that, actually, we're going to bring up your wildcard team on screen. So perhaps, Keith, let's start with that and talk about your wildcard team right at the tippy top and then get into it. Because I think you were saying you've made, 8 changes to it so far?
Yeah, so, I mean, from the last video, it's changed a little bit. So I'm just trying to look at it on my phone. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's Ryan still in goal. I think people seem to be bringing him in, so I'm happy to kind of keep him. His fixtures look good, and he's been pretty good for me. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it says minus 0.1. I can't afford it right now, but... I'm probably going to get rises, so I'm sure that'll be fine, and I don't have to have Countwell, so that's easily fixable. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so there's Rico, who we'll talk about him later, but his stats are really, really good at the moment, and I'm probably going to play him this week. Tierney, who still is the punt that I do really want to get in there. That's the lowest owned sort of player I'm punting on the wild card. Obviously Trent, Lundstrom, no brainers, and then Kelly. Just he seems to be starting at the moment. So just the cheap back line, which by all the points scored at the moment, that seems to be the way to go. Obviously still have Marnie at the moment. He's possibly changeable, but we'll see. Sterling, I said at the start of the season I think he'll be the top point scorer, so I'm going to try and keep faith. I do like Aguero though. And then De Bruyne is coming back in. He's been pictured in training, so no way I'm going without him. And then Mount's gone nowhere. Wilson's come in, great fixtures. Abraham, obviously I didn't have it before, I had to get him in. And then Jimenez is my second biggest punt, I suppose. And he's got great fixtures, and his form looks to be turning. So yeah, I think it looks okay. I think that front 7 or attackers. I think that looks great. And obviously I've got Rico, Tierney, Trent of attacking wing backs as well. So I'm fairly happy with that at this point. Yeah,
it looks good. I'm sure we'll sort of pick at it if that makes sense, and talk about key players as we run through. But should we start by talking about the fixtures now and the lunchtime fixture on Saturday, which is Everton against West Ham? I sort of wanted to start by talking about Dean, if that's all right, because I feel like he's sort of had a bit of a mass exodus recently. Continuing to sort of fall in ownership. He's owned by 21% of the game now. Back at the start of the season, he was like 35 odd. So yeah, he's dropping rapidly. Understandably so. People are seeing his points have dried up. He's only scored 4 points, I think, in the last 4 game weeks. Everton have conceded at least 2 goals in each of the last 4. I'm trying to make a bit of a case for him and convince myself that he's maybe not a bad option still. So they've only conceded 6 big chances in the last 4 game weeks, which is actually the second best in the league. So I think they've possibly been a bit unlucky. Actually, looking at expected points for Dean, so that's over the last 4, he should have had apparently 21.6 points. So that's a huge difference. So it looks like he's having a shot in the box at least every game week, and he's getting very far forward. He was on for bonus before the clean sheet wipeout, and Coleman got sent off against Burnley, and I just feel like, even though we're going to go into game week 9, I feel like Dean has got the attacking potential. If Everton start getting their act together defensively, like we saw at the end of last season, he's going to be such a great FPL asset. I feel like I might be a bit too hasty to get rid of him. But it's been in my thoughts. What do you got rid of him a couple of weeks ago? You look at him and go, ooh, maybe, or are you just so put off by their form at the moment?
Obviously, I did say I was going to get him back on the wild card, and I've definitely looked at him. I'm tempted, but they're third bottom in the league. They've lost their last 4 in a row. So until they start showing any form, I'm probably just going to stay away. I think I could probably quite easily get him in. I can downgrade, one of my attackers, one of the front 3, go into a 4-4-2 again. So yeah, he's someone I like still. His fixtures are okay, but for the time being, I'm not going there.
Yeah, I can understand that. On the West Ham side of things, obviously they've been sort of, I don't know, okay a bit recently, I'd say, in terms of their form. I think that Palace result was a bit of a surprise one at home because they'd had a couple of good results into that. You had Haller before the wild card. He's obviously been replaced by, well, Calaman Jimenez. Do you look at him and think there's points there in these upcoming fixtures? Because West Ham have still got a good run.
You know, I am a bit loath to remove him on the wild card, to be honest, Haller. But, you know, Wilson down to Haller down the line could still be a thing for me. But yeah, Haller has been a good source of points for me recently. He's got 5 points in the last 2 game weeks for me when I've severely needed points. So, yeah, Everton away, I don't think that's that bad for them. Like Yarmolenko scored in the international break, so he's still doing well. Lanzini's coming back in, isn't he? So yeah, I can't see a clean sheet for Everton really, and I think Haller will probably score. But you know, I'm just betting that Wilson and Jimenez and you know, who was my third one? Abraham are gonna score more. I suppose.
No, I can understand that. I think it's a strange one with Everton. Like I was having a look at some of the bookie stats earlier just to see who was looking likely for clean sheets when we were talking about our clean sheet predictions towards the end of the show. And I was surprised to see that Everton are actually registered as the third most likely to keep a home clean sheet this weekend. So either bookies don't fancy West Ham away, or they're just throwing darts at teams.
I don't really get that.
No, I was confused by that because I think West Ham's attackers look really great.
Well, actually, having said that, their XG over the last 4 weeks was actually the third worst of all teams.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's probably coincided with Lanzini being out. So, obviously, him coming back, you expect it's going to go up. They've got decent fixtures. So, their XG was 4.33, and so it's not great over 4 weeks, is it? So, one average of 1 a game, you'd guess. But so obviously Haller's been kind of inconsistent across the season. He's blanked in half his games, returned in the other half. So, but no, I expect him to do well, and I would like to look back at him in the future. So.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. All right, should we move on? Talk about Villa against Brighton, one of the 3 o'clock ones, or do you want to add any more on the West Ham Everton game?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, cool. Well, Brighton, obviously Matt Ryan, they demolished Spurs before the international break. Have you been tempted by any of their players? I know Connolly had a great run, didn't he? 6 shots against Spurs, 4.5 million forward. It looks like a good budget option, potentially sort of leapfrogging Wilson for anyone that's on a wild card and playing 4-4-2 or 4-5-1. He looks like he could be a great option to go to there. Villa look good on the road. It's got at least 2 goals in the last 3. Obviously whipped Norwich with 5. Clean sheet in this one for Brighton. No, I think Brighton can look quite solid at times at the back.
Well, after they scored 5 against Norwich, you're not sure of a clean sheet, are you? Obviously, McGinn's stats have been really good. But yeah, Connolly, I definitely looked at him. He's been in plenty of the wildcard drafts for me. He's an upgrade on Greenwood, isn't he, at 4.5? But yeah, defence-wise, hopefully, I'm keeping Matt Ryan. I've definitely looked at other goalkeepers, but he seems at a good value. He's getting lots of saves when he plays bad teams, and Villa seem to shoot a lot at the moment, so he can probably get a lot of saves here as well. I imagine Villa will be on the front foot most of this game, so save points hopefully. I can see them scoring, but fingers crossed they don't. Obviously, Dunk you've got down here has been pretty good, hasn't he? And I definitely looked at him as well, but he is, if you are looking to get him in, he's one yellow away from a ban already.
That's quite interesting. Okay,
that's a thing as well. So, but yeah, McGinn wise, last 4 weeks, 5.8 million at the moment. He's 12% owned. Last 4 weeks, he's the first for all shots for mids.
Wow,
which was pretty impressive for obviously a promoted player. 4th for expected points of all mids. Loves a shot, box to box, explosive, and then he's 3rd for all mids of XG. Above, Son, Mane, all that sort of people. So yeah, McGinn proving really, really good, and he's the first Scottish player to score a hat-trick in an international since 1952.
Oh,
nice little stat there.
Stats.
Yeah, so I'd love to get him, but I don't know, it's still something I don't hugely trust about them. But maybe Mount, after their fixtures dry up a bit, could go to McGinn. when Villa's fixtures get really good. So
I was just actually going to say about their fixtures, because after this Brighton game at home, they've got a really tough time. They've got City and Liverpool back to back, and then Wolves away. They've got sort of the come down from that as Newcastle at home, but those are three sort of really horrid looking fixtures right in the middle there.
Yeah, I see people getting him on their wildcard at this point, and I'm just thinking, I don't know why you're trying to avoid a transfer down the line, but he's not. I don't think he's going to get much in the next few.
No.
So, there's better options, I think, for the time being.
I think Brighton's team seems a bit unusual. I'm not sure how they're going to trouble Villa. I think they're going back to last season a little bit now, but they failed to score in 6 of their last 8 away games, which is pretty poor. And we've seen, I think it was the away game against Newcastle and the away game against Chelsea. It was just such a rearguard action, wasn't it? And it was those games where Ryan racked up some big points. Yeah. And we obviously spoke a little bit about Mapai on the show on Friday and how he's, just looking quite attacking without having the returns yet. So he's third overall for shots in the box of the last 4, with only Aguero and Abraham better. So he's been getting in the right positions. He's been obviously getting his shots away, but they're not sort of being classed as big chances. And obviously he's not scored many. His sort of goal against Tottenham was a bit fortuitous, wasn't it, with Lloris just dropping it to him.
Sure.
But I'm not really sure where the attacking threat is going to come from for Brighton on these away games at the moment. It seems like they're sort of trying to keep it tight and maybe hit a team on the counter-attack. And until they, I suppose, convince me that they can put a few away on a road, that I could consider Maupay, because I know you were talking about him, weren't you, as a potential striking option.
Yeah, he's obviously 6 million, isn't he? And he frees up some funds for even stronger midfield. So certainly looking at him, and his stats are good, aren't they? So we want to get on players before they score big, and the stats are showing that he could do soon. But without the, I don't know, what's his name, Trossard, the creativity. But Gross has been pretty creative recently, so maybe the Gross Maupay sort of link up might be a thing. But there's obviously Villa are conceding plenty, so there's chances for him to score here. There is the game, there is the fixture.
Yeah, I'm talking about the fixtures. They're not bad after this. They got Everton at home at the Amex in Gameweek 10. And I think they go to... they got Norwich at home as well, maybe, in Game Week 11. So they've got like a fairly decent block of 3 here to to run at. So, things could be all right for Brighton, but I'm still just a little bit reserved about their front line. But there looks to be good price players there in Connolly and Mapai. Any more to add on either of those two?
Yeah, just wanted to mention El Ghazi quickly. Okay. He's 5.5 million and 1.3% owned. So he's going under the radar, but he's in his last 3 weeks he's had 5, 7, and 9 points. So slowly ticking over. When Yarmolenko was at 5.5 and scoring every week pretty much, that he was shot up in price and value. Ownership really quickly. So. Yeah, he's the 11th highest scoring mid in the game. That's so good, why are we all not looking at him at 5.5 million? Might be, I suppose, people are looking at McGinn, aren't they, at 5.8? But El Ghazi, he seems to be the starter, does seem to come off after 60 minutes, but he's still getting the returns. So, someone to pay attention to, I think.
For sure, and I think that's the way, especially for probably me more than you, is trying to pick out more of those differentials, maybe just 1 or 2 every 3 or 4 weeks, just to sort of, hopefully they're going to be rank busters and just sneak us up the ladder a little bit. I feel like I'm not lagging behind, but in a position where I feel like I've got quite a lot of highly owned players, and even sneaking in an El Ghazi for like at least 2 or 3 fixtures and then getting off him again for a harder run is going to be a way to get up there, but perhaps not at the moment for them. So he's definitely one to monitor for me.
I think it's from 14 or 15 that their fixtures are really good. Okay. So from there possibly.
Okay. Bournemouth against Norwich, potentially the highest scoring Premier League game ever. What do you reckon?
No.
How about that?
No, we fought City versus Norwich.
Yeah, we did actually.
Like a 10-0 or something, and then Norwich beat them. So, I'm hoping for Wilson to do the bits here. So because I've got him in, and he looks like he's a possible captain material for this week. Obviously Bournemouth fixtures, Norwich at home, Watford away. You can't really ask for two better than that.
Good, aren't they?
And then Man United at home. Man United still looking a bit crap at the moment, so could be something in that. Newcastle away, good fixture. Wolves at home, okay, and then Tottenham away. So yeah, team stats wise, they're 9th for team XG of 6.24 of the last 4 weeks, and then 8th for XGC of 6.58, which is actually isn't bad really. Like 8th for Bournemouth when everyone thinks that they concede everything and concede billions. So yeah, I was a bit surprised by that one. So their defense isn't as bad as you might think. So I don't know, Rico, of me playing him this week, yeah, possible clean sheet, maybe get an assist. That'd be fantastic. So yeah, I've got some stats of Tammy versus Wilson in the last 4 weeks. So right. Yeah, there's pretty much nothing between them, to be honest. The XG is 3.35, exactly the same. Shots wise is 15 versus 10 for 15 for Tammy. So it's Tammy first, Wilson second. Sorry. Goals 4 versus 4. Key passes 3 versus 3. Big chances created 1 versus 1. Mm-hmm. An XA of 0.9 versus 0.87, and expected points. This is combined assists and bonus and goals, which is 27.1 and versus 28.1. So Wilson's actually higher expected over the last 4 weeks. So yeah, with this fixture looking so great, he might be the no-brainer captain, to be honest. Well, maybe not no-brainer, but yeah, we know what he's like. He can haul at any point, but we also know that he can troll. Yeah. So there is that as well. But yeah, we've seen it before when the fixtures line up for him, he'll go missing. So
yeah, I don't know why it is, but it's I think it's probably the Man City game, which has just like scared me. Like every time I look at Norwich and I think, oh god, they're away, or they should get battered. Now, just because of that one game, I think, oh, are actually the team gonna do it and pull through? Do you know what I mean? It feels like we were all set up for like that huge thrashing, weren't we? And nothing transpired. And now we've been looking at this one for 2 weeks, thinking, "Oh God, Norwich have conceded 5. They're going to concede double figures against Bournemouth."
Well, no, I don't think they'll concede double figures, obviously, but
you know what I mean, though.
But they're still so bad in defence, and Bournemouth have looked decent. So even King has had a decent revival on the right wing, hasn't he? And so. Yeah, I'm happy to own him. I probably won't captain him. You know, I think it probably is too risky, but I'm happy to own him. Yeah. And if he can get a goal and an assist, goal plus assist, then I'd be thrilled. Yeah.
Well, I think that the stats show that Norwich look like they're going to get beaten well this weekend. So they've conceded at least 2 in their last 6, and they've not scored in the last 3 away games. So problems at both ends of the pitch, and also they're top in a column you don't want to be in. That's for big chances conceded in the last 4. So they conceded 14 of those. So averaging just over 3 a game is pretty terrible, really. I've actually got some. I'm trying to sort of convince myself about Pookie, because he's been the one in my team, and I said it on Friday and after the game week 8 wrapped up. Is why have I got a Championship striker in my team? This is going like Mitrovic from last season. But I had a look to compare him with more expensive options in Wilson and Vardy. I tried to find some metrics which made him look semi-decent. So the stats per 90 minutes for the season, sort of work out like this. I won't go through them all, but Pookie beats Wilson and Vardy for shots every 90 minutes. So he's averaging 3, Wilson 1.7, Vardy 1.6. Key passes, he's beaten them both in per 90 as well. So he's averaging 1.3. He's not beating Wilson, sorry. 1.3, Wilson's 1.5, Vardy 0.5. His expected goals slightly less than Wilson, 0.4 to Wilson's 0.7. Vardy's down on 0.2. But his expected assists is actually higher despite making less key passes. So his expected assists is 0.3 to Wilson's 0.1 and Vardy's 0.09. So, I mean, per 90 minutes this season, he looks like he is coming out better after 8 game weeks, despite the fact he's blanked in so bloody many of them. He's doing all right. And I've seen that he played for... it's funny because I was looking at the game Finland have got tonight thinking, oh, it'd make my life so much easier if he just picked up like a little niggle, and it's given me like a good reason to get rid of him for Jimenez or Wilson. Yeah. But he's gone and scored 2 goals tonight, and he's made me think, oh no, he's got some form back again.
Yeah.
I know, so I'm going to keep him, I think.
Yeah, no, I if I wasn't wildcarding, I probably would have kept him. So, but like you said, those stats are across the season.
They are not the last 4.
They're skewed a little because they're not the last 4 when their form has been so bad. And where Pookie's form as well has been bad. So if you did that for the last 4, Wilson, and maybe not Vardy, but Wilson would be well ahead, I'd imagine, on all those stats.
I'll tell you who has looked quite good in the last 4, surprisingly, is Cantwell. Like I've been sort of slagging him off a little bit as well. Slagging myself off because I'm like, why have I paid nearly 5 million for a Norwich mid who I'm going to keep on my bench the majority of the game weeks? But he looks like he's been flagged. He's been flagged for a while. He picked up a small hamstring injury away with England duty, so we don't know if he's going to be back. But he's averaging 1.8 shots in the box over the last 4, which is really good at numbers actually for like I say, a 5 million midfield GP for Norwich who've been so poor. So I think as a first or second bench option, still Cantwell's good. It's just a shame. I mean, I got him a bit too late. I think I got him at 4.8, maybe 4.9, but that's not as bad as I thought they were doing stats-wise, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
That's kind of why I'd like to keep him on the wildcard possibly, because he is miles ahead of because I got him at 4.6 maybe. So... yeah, he is miles ahead of the sort of 4.5-ish midfielders of Stevens and Romeo, who had just nailed on and do nothing else really. Yeah. And he is attacking still, so he has that opportunity to feed Pookie or to get goals. Whereas the others in that sort of price range just turn up and do nothing else. Yeah. I should
caveat before we move on from this one that actually. Finland were playing Armenia tonight, so it wasn't like they were playing sort of world football royalty and Cuckoo didn't have a masterclass. They were playing Armenia. All right, any more to add in this one? Do you want to do a score prediction? Because I think this is going to be a fun game.
Well, okay, well, like I said, I'm hoping for a clean sheet if I'm playing Rico. Okay. So I'm going to go 2-0 Bournemouth. Just keep it within the realms of possibilities.
I think Norwich are actually going to break their away day hoodoo, because I don't think they've scored since the Liverpool game away from home on the first day. I don't think. I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments, but I'm going to say it'd be I'm going to be 3-2. I think it'll be a fun game, and
to Bournemouth.
Bournemouth, and looking forward to that one.
I just wanted to mention Rico before we move on as well. So him versus Trent, which is obviously a massive price difference. So over the last 4 weeks, Rico, Trent first. So shots wise, Trent has had 4 and Rico's had 1, which obviously, great, not much. Big chances, Trent's had 2, so this is for scoring himself versus 0. But then, if I go to XG, then it's just 1 versus 0.02, which is obviously terrible. But then key passes is where you're sort of looking at Rico, the assist area with them. Obviously, Trent excels as well, doesn't he? So key passes for Trent, 14 versus 10 for Rico, which is decent. Big chances created is 3 versus 3, which is up there again. And then XA is 1.71 for Trent, which is obviously first of all defenders, and then 1.47 for Rico, who's second. So 4.2 million. If you got onto him late, that's still worth investing in, and I think he's worth playing because he takes corners as well. He does. A 4.2 million player that takes corners, who seems to have nailed down his place, while I think it's Kelly or something is still sort of like learning the trade of Bournemouth sort of thing. So I think he's a bargain. I think he's worth including from on your wild card, and I think he's worth playing this week.
Yeah, all good points. It's funny, at the start of the season, we were all scrabbling around, weren't we, looking for these 4.0 options, and it's ended up that 3 of them have merged and have got fairly decent playing times in Rico, Lundstrom and Kelly. So, fair play if you get on them early. I still want to see if he continues. I know it's probably going to get a bit away from me, but to see if he continues to start, especially he and Kelly, but we'll talk more about them in a bit, I think. Okay, Chelsea against Newcastle. I have got absolutely sweet FA written down against Newcastle. I've got a fun game for you to play actually, but you might have already seen. Okay, I
have seen it, but I'm pretty sure I know it is. But go on.
Guess what? Guess how highly owned their most. Guess Newcastle's most highly owned FPL asset.
Hayden.
It is, yeah. He's only 5%. So that tells me there's probably no one watching this. Hello to you and hi. That owns any Newcastle players beyond sort of like Hayden, Lacazelle's and Dubravka maybe. So it's very minimal. Anyway, but should I talk about Willems and just get it out of the way so we can have a big old love in on Chelsea?
Sure.
He is the own. I'm not going to recommend any Newcastle players because there's nothing to recommend. There's nothing exciting about them. I'm so sorry, Newcastle fans. But Willems may be a slight glimmer. So he obviously got that thunderbolt, didn't he, at Anfield? Set up Longstaff, the brother, which I forgot the name of.
Matty.
Oh, Matty. Yes, Matty Longstaff. He's actually not looking too bad. So, 4.5 million for Willems, owned by less than 1%. He's a mega differential. averaging nearly a shot in the box per 90 minutes in the last 4. I think that he looks okay. If you're a Newcastle fan and you want to have a Newcastle player, I'd probably recommend him because Hayden looks like a card magnet.
I don't mind Lascelles if you're looking. He's gone to 4.4. If you need that just point cheaper, he's obviously nailed on. I think Lascelles is good for bonus as well, and obviously past Chelsea and maybe Wolves. Fixtures aren't too bad after. Yeah. They've got a decent fixture swing. So
yeah, I was going to say they've got a good block of 4, haven't they? With Wolves, West Ham away, Bournemouth at home, and then Villa away. So they're not bad. But that pretty much wraps up my Newcastle chat. Really, the reason I was not so keen on their attack is they've only created 3 big chances in the last 4 games. But despite that, I was going to say they have scored against Liverpool and United, so they must be doing something right.
Yeah.
Okay, Chelsea. Let's love in on them. Is Tammy Abraham crossed your mind as a captaincy option this week, or
he has? But I haven't really thought about the captain, to be honest, because I've just been so engrossed in the wild card. But yeah, for sure. He's looked really good, hasn't he? He's first of all XG, I think, in the forwards lately, or maybe he's second or something like that. But yeah, so it's hard to look past him when he's getting so many shots and. Yeah, it looks great. I mean, he's third for shots for mids and forwards for 15 in the last 4 weeks. Yeah, like it. He's only had 2 goals at home though, which is a slight issue, I suppose. Me about that. So yeah, I'm yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll kept him, but probably not. I think the next 2 after Newcastle, Burnley away, Watford away, obviously where he scored most of his goals, sort of counter-attacking Chelsea play. Yeah, it looks good for them. 2 away fixtures in a row, so yeah, looks good for goals. Yeah, if he's had the second of all big chances for forwards, which was 6 in the last 4 weeks, but he's only scored 4 of them. So if he can get a bit more of a sort of clinical finishing, then he could be getting even higher on the points. And I don't know if it's too early to say Golden Boot contender, maybe.
Yeah, it's not a bad shout.
If he can keep it up, then why not?
Yeah, no, I like Tammy a lot, and he's been crossing my mind. Like you said, all the reasons you've said, really. His numbers are looking good. He's obviously the main man. There is a little bit of a slight. I would have liked to, I suppose, have more faith in Abraham as a captaincy option against Newcastle if he'd battered some in against Brighton. Like, he had all those chances, and watching him on Match of the Day was quite heart-wrenching because he got in the right positions, but it's just finishing wasn't on. So yeah, I'm just I don't know if I can.
Having said that, he got all those chances, didn't he?
So he did, yeah.
He could finish them against Newcastle.
Yeah. So he's a strong consideration for captaincy for me at the moment. I have actually got the armband on him, but I mean we'll talk more about captaincy a bit later. But yeah, he's looking good for me. What about Callum Hudson-Odoi? Because we've been impressed, haven't we? He looks good.
Yeah, we've liked him so far. Obviously in the last week's show, the review, we sort of mentioned him. That it's still probably a little bit too early to tell if he's nailed or not, if he's come back. But yeah, it's a possibility if he is nailed to move Mount on, use the savings elsewhere. But yeah, like him, like watching him. So fingers crossed, he does well. I'm probably not going to include him on Wildcard, just because I've got other punts I want to take. But yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like it. Tomori, we were talking about him. Is he a good option? You were an early adopter of Tomori, but he's not on your wildcard team. He's gone. Yeah,
no, I might still keep him, but it's just the funds have not been there for me to be able to do it. But their XGC over the last 4 weeks is surprisingly second best of all teams at 4.33, and which is obviously some way down from Liverpool's at 2.63. And obviously, yeah, they've conceded 5, so it's kind of about right. But yeah, worth keeping Tomori, maybe. If I could find the funds, then I definitely would. But yeah, we'll see.
They're expecting.
And having said that, with the Liverpool 2.63 of expected goals conceded compared to Chelsea's being 4.33 and they're second, then maybe I should be getting Liverpool double defence again.
Yeah, maybe. But you just played your wildcard and got rid of Van Dijk.
Yeah, bring in Robertson.
I'm going to get Robertson in a few game weeks' time. But yes, no, I agree. I like Tomori. It seems like Rudiger could potentially come back for this game week as well.
Okay.
Although I think Kante's might still be picked up another muscle injury. I believe that's what Deschamps said. So I don't know the severity of that. But we could be without Kante and put Rudiger back, so we'll see how that affects Chelsea's backline, but hopefully positively, because a lot of Chelsea fans have been pining for him.
I think Emerson's supposed to be fit now as well, so anyone who's got Alonso, I'd imagine he loses his place. I'm not sure, but
okay. Leicester, I'm kind of sad about that, Kieran, actually, the fact that Alonso losing his place, but yeah. All right, Leicester against Burnley. I tell you what, a team with a big fixture swing in Leicester, and you've not opted for any of their options. Vardy, Maddison, Soyuncu, Pereira. I mean, there's plenty of options there, Keek, and you've not gone for any. So what's the reasoning behind that?
I just don't think the next four are that easy for them. Okay. Burnley at home. Burnley are obviously pretty solid defensively. Southampton, obviously, they could score there. But Crystal Palace, solid defensively. You know, they're 6th in the league. They're not easy to go against. So at Arsenal at home, could score, but it's not going to be clean cut. I think there's better options for the time being. There's something about them I just don't really trust. Their team XG has been really poor. Their XGC's been, I think it's the 3rd or 4th best, but at the same time, I just don't really see that many clean sheets coming. I think this Burnley game could be a trap. I think Barnes might finally get on the score sheet. I think Woods could score.
I don't know about
that. Everyone gets on them, and then I think that they're going to troll us. I'm just not sure. I would really like to get one in, but there's just other players I prefer more. So,
well, I think, but especially this Burnley game, this isn't going to be one for Vardy. I think I'd prefer Maddison than Vardy if I was going to jump on a Leicester attacking asset. I just feel like Leicester are going to sit in, make it really difficult. I mean, they've drawn their last 3 away games. They conceded, I think, the joint second least big chances in the last 4. I think they conceded 6, which is only 2 worse than Liverpool. So they're looking really good defensively. So wouldn't recommend a Vardy captaincy this week by any stretch of imagination. I think the Southampton game is a really good one. Hasenhüttl doesn't know how to keep clean sheets with them. They play quite attacking. I could see there being tons of space for Vardy in that game. But that really is the only game maybe in the next 4, that Southampton game, where I'd trust Vardy, because I think Crystal Palace, they're going to defend deep, restrict his space, and it's a strange one. Maddison, I think, for the set pieces and the shots, but at 7-2, I feel like there is potentially better value midfielders, which looks like the reasoning you've sort of come to as well.
I mean, for someone who's supposed to get loads of assists, Maddison his stats don't really rely that. So his XA is actually pretty bad at 0.26, and that's across the last 4 weeks. And his XG, on the other hand, is actually quite good at 1.24. So for someone we expect to get loads of assists from corners, set pieces, it's the other way around. He's averaged on shots at 8. He's only had 2 big chances, which he's actually scored from, which is obviously good, but outside the box sort of thing. Set pieces that he hasn't really yielded much. Hasn't got an assist or anything from a set piece, I don't think yet. There's still Perez, there's still Tielemans, there's Barnes, all capable of assists for Vardy. So I think there's other players in that team that could be diluting his points. Obviously, he does seem to be the main man, but Tielemans is just as good. And then Perez has got 2 assists in the last 2, so he's I'm not saying get him, but he's a good option, starting to return a bit more. Obviously there's Chilwell at 5.4. He's only 4.2% owned. Are people looking at him instead, maybe as a alternative Ricardo and a bit more, I don't know, attacking than Soyuncu? The stats wise, they're not very good attacking wise for Chilwell, but assist wise, their key passes are 2 versus 2 for him and Ricardo, and the XA is pretty much identical at 0.15-ish, but for both. So there's not much in it, but 0.15-ish for assists for fullbacks isn't great. I would like Soyuncu, but he's just so boring. I find him so boring, and so there's just so many other players I would just rather have than him.
I feel like I've missed the boat a little bit, even though he's only gone up to 4.7. I feel like he's sort of like a bit of a halfway house between because I don't know if he's offering much goal threat really, and the clean sheet potential. I think with these fixtures, if Leicester do score, it is going to be the attackers who get the bonus. I feel like there's options which are less than he is and potentially could offer
somewhere he's a better option.
Yeah, I think
than him, and they're basically the same price. So
yeah. On the Burnley side of things, I think there's these two fixtures are coming up, a good test for Burnley in the Leicester away game and Chelsea at home. But after that, I think it's worth looking at Burnley for some potential sort of low cost investment. I'm talking about differentials earlier. I'm considering a defensive double up because from game week 11 to 14, it's only 2 game weeks away from now. But they've got Sheffield United away, West Ham at home, Watford away, Crystal Palace at home. Those are really, really good set of fixtures against some shot-shy teams and teams that aren't particularly prolific. I've got like a big problem in my team in terms of Zinchenko, and if I've still got him come game week 11, I do think that the double Burnley defence is a good way to go. They're looking good. Like I said when we were talking about them, their defence is just been consistent this season and not many big chances conceded. Dyche knows how to set them up to defend well. I think there's potential points there. At the other end of the pitch, that Wood versus Barnes, it's totally gone away from Ashley Barnes, man. Chris Wood has been like powerhousing his way to the front of that queue. So just a little comparison. Their shots are the same. So both had 8 shots in the last 4. But Barnes has pumped him. He's had 4 shots on target. 8 of those, or all 8 of Woods have been in the box. Barnes has only had 4. And Woods had 5 big chances to Barnes' none. He's obviously scored 3 goals with an XG of 2.26. So he's slightly outperformed it. But Barnes, 0 goals, XG of 0.2. I mean, the drop-off has been massive. And literal drop-off in terms of stats and player position because he's playing this like number 10 role. What was I thinking, Kieran? What was I thinking?
You fooled yourself.
Fooled myself. Anyway, so Wood now, he's still at uber differential, 1.3% ownership, 6.2. Burnley, I imagine, are going to be scoring the odd goal in those games from game week 11 to 14. So I also see Chris Wood as a bit of a differential. But yeah. Oh, I should also mention Taylor as one to watch. So I think he came on, didn't he, for Peters, who went off injured against Everton. He's only 4.2 million, and Dyche has got a bit of a track record. If a player gets in the squad or in the team, plays well, he'll stick with him. So I'm very interested to see if Peters doesn't recover and Taylor has a good game. He could be a really tasty 4.2 option from game week 11 as well. So yeah, one to monitor. Yep,
I'll probably get on one of their defence down the stretch as well. So yeah, like it.
Yeah. All right, Spurs against Watford. I think it's at 3 o'clock on Saturday. Watford they got 3 decent games in the next 5, but in their bottom of the league, failed to win in any of their last 12 games. They've not scored in the last 3. So how many do you think they're going to put past Tottenham, Kieran?
Yeah. Spurs are that bad at the moment. So yeah, Watford 6-0.
Okay, 6-0. Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
we'll go 6.
Sounds good.
We'll go 6. Do you know? You might have already heard this, but who do you think's had the most big chances of all Watford players in the last 4 games? I'll give you a spoiler. Everyone at home or wherever you're listening, in a car, maybe. Who do you think's had the most big chances in the last 4?
Where's the spoiler?
Well, I'm going to tell you. You've got to guess. You've got to guess as well.
Okay. I was going to say Hughes, but it's probably not, is it? Pereira,
no,
maybe?
It's not Pereira. It's little Tom Cleverley. Okay, so he's had big chances in the last 4, which tells me it's no surprise why Tottenham haven't scored in their last 3 games. That's what.
Watford.
Yeah. So, Watford haven't scored in the last 3. So Delafeo's sort of the second best attacking outlet for that team. He's had 11 shots in the last 4. 6 of those have been in the box, but his XG is 1.17. Obviously 0 goals. They just don't look a threat. They're having these shots, but they're just wayward and off target, and can't see where they're going to score, to be honest. Anyway.
Well, I don't know. But Spurs look so bad at the back at the moment, don't they? So, both teams in a little bit of crisis. So, but I don't know. The international break came at a good time for Spurs. They're probably going to be able to readjust. Obviously, their players have played probably quite a few minutes over the international break, but they'll be able to come back, hopefully on a new sort of foot and push on. So obviously their team stats wise, they've drawn or lost every away games this season, and then their home form is 3 wins and 1 defeat. So, and that defeat was against Newcastle, who had a 1-0 win. So is there any reason Watford can't do the same thing?
No,
I mean, there probably is plenty of reasons because they can't defend themselves. So, but yeah, it's hard to call this game because both teams don't look great. But I would imagine a back to form, obvious, just 1-2-0 win for Spurs would be my guess.
With Harry Kane on the score sheet after his heroics in Bulgaria last night.
Yeah, he had triple assists and a goal versus Bulgaria. Obviously, it's Bulgaria, but if that was in FPL, that would have been a monster haul. He played most of the minutes in both games for England. He probably needs taken off by Southgate when they're 4-0 up to give him a rest, but obviously not happening at the moment. He's the captain, I suppose. He's actually been pretty good points wise, consistency. He's had 6, 5, 8, 8, and 2 in his last 5 weeks, which is not bad, I suppose. For under 11 million, 10.9 now. Is he someone we're overlooking? I mean, maybe his non-pen XG must be pretty bad. His heat map's terrible. He's all over the place, but I don't know. Is he someone to start considering again?
I don't know. He's been consistent, like you say, and he could have had a goal against Brighton. He had a big chance towards the end of the game, which he skied from about 8 yards. He's looked good for England. I wouldn't say he's looked... it's funny, I almost said the Kane of old there, but he hasn't looked as good as he's done a couple of seasons ago. But like you say, he's been chipping away with the points, and you know he's always going to start for Spurs. You know if he gets a penalty, he's usually going to put it away, apart from the one in the Champions League. And their fixtures, though, are the ones where I'm like, maybe not for the next 3 game weeks, because maybe the Watford game, but then they've got Liverpool and Everton, both away games. They've got Sheffield United at home. I think that'll be a sticky game for them as well. You can't see many teams beating Sheffield United by a big score. So, it's a bit of a gamble, because you'd be moving away from a premium option in midfield, I guess, or a premium option in terms of Aubameyang or Aguero up front. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. What about Son, though? Because he's been doing well, hasn't he? He's been sort of filling the Harry Kane heat map in around the penalty area.
Yeah, he's obviously been doing decently points wise, but his stats have lagged way down over the last 4 weeks compared to what he was doing before, and compared to cheaper alternatives. So I don't know, if you have him, then you've got other fires to put out. Then keep him. Obviously, Watford at home is a great fixture. But if you don't have KDB, he might be worth shipping out for him, because we think KDB's fit anyway. So losing a little bit faith in him. Obviously, I don't have him, but I would be at this point, because his stats are way down and Spurs haven't looked good. So
I like it. What about Vorm? Because Vorm has just signed, hasn't he, a short-term contract because of the Lloris injury. Imagine if he gets back in at Spurs. All the Gazzaniga owners that jumped Kieran, they could be punished. But yeah, we won't know really until this weekend. But I'd imagine it's going to be Gazzaniga, Vorm back up. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. But Vorm is there, and he obviously was the backup before, wasn't he? And Gazzaniga's below him, so something to be aware of. Look out for press conference news, I suppose. Yeah, definitely. See what happens.
Yeah. All right, Wolves against Southampton. It's one we're both excited about, but just because I think Wolves they've beaten City, so everyone's like, oh my god, Wolves? Oh my god, Wolves. But they've forgotten all the other games where they've had Europa League hangovers and they have actually not done well. Maybe I'm doing a bit of a disservice, because the fixtures are good and they've got players in form. You've obviously backing Jimenez at the moment in your wildcard.
For the time being,
that doesn't sound very confident. But yeah, their fixtures are the ones I really like. So, they're playing teams in Southampton and Newcastle, who've got awful defensive records. They've also got Arsenal away, which I think they had a pretty damn decent game in against last season. They've obviously come off the back of this great win against City. Talk to me about Wolves, Kieran. Talk to me. What do you like?
Hard to look past their swing is there. Obviously, they've been much improved over the last few weeks. Their XG is still pretty poor at 5.43 as a team, but it's been much improved from where it was.
Is that over the season?
Over the last 4.
Okay.
And then XGC is 6.37. They've only conceded 5. However, any team that can keep City goalless, you're probably going to want to consider their backline a bit. Yeah. And obviously, we know what they could do last year. Bolly's great, Doherty's great. What's the one? Cody. They're all solid. Patricio's the top scoring goalkeeper at the moment. So, there's definitely worth considering as an investment, I think, in the defence. because obviously the fixtures have got great. So Jimenez, I'm looking at. I would like a Patricio. I would like a Bolly, by the way, or a sort of Doherty. Those players I'm looking at, but it's hard to be able to fit them in.
Yeah, it's the price point for me with Bolly. Like, I bigged him up as well. I think he just loves a bonus, and I think he's got a bonus every time they've got a clean sheet. Yeah. He looks really good, but it's that 5 million. I feel like there's probably better value elsewhere, and it feels like too middling. Like you say, we've got players like Rico and Kelly who are also doing similar jobs. Rico's obviously got attacking output. Kelly's got the clean sheets, a bit like Bolly. He can also pick up the odd bonus. I don't know. It's a strange one. Bolly's got great goal threat though, and I suppose that's something to consider. He's a danger in the box.
This game does feel like a clean sheet for them, at least.
Does,
so, Anyway, so going on to Jimenez then. So he's at 7.1 million. Obviously dropped 4 times from 7.5.
That's crazy.
8.7% owned, and obviously he's looking like he might be going back to the Jimenez of last year. Over the last 4 weeks, his XG has been 0.87, which is actually worse than Crutoni, is his teammate, who barely plays. And then XA of 1.57, which is actually third for all forwards over the last 4 weeks.
That's not bad, is it?
That's where he looks like he might be getting his points. But yeah, obviously we know he can score. He's probably on penalties, we'd assume. So yeah, I like his stats going forward. He's had 8 shots on par with sort of Barnes, Wood, and Haller, so he's doing all right. And then three big chances created, which is only second behind Firmino, which is decent.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's somewhere for Pookie owners to go to if they don't want to keep him. I'm backing him at the moment. He's someone I might not. there's a place for him to go down to Connolly to get into someone like Maddison, but I think I trust Jimenez more than Maddison, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I probably agree with you there.
So, yeah, that's where I am with the Jimenez.
No, I like it. Perhaps I'll just talk about Southampton for a little bit then, just because their fixtures are rough, and I think they're rocking up with Wolves looking to get beat. I think their defence is really, like I said earlier, what's letting them down at the moment. They can't seem to... they haven't got the balance right at the moment with the attacking and defensive side. I was amazed when I saw their attacking numbers. So I think they've had the 35 shots in the box in the last 4, which is the 5th best in the league. So the numbers are looking really good for them from an attacking sense, but it's just the defensive side of the game which is letting them down. If you've still got Vestergaard, who was top, wasn't he, of all defenders after, I think, game week 4 or game week 5.
Yeah.
You've still got him. I think it's time to get rid of the big man. I think Gunn's still offering great value in goal. He's going to continue racking up those save points, maybe not so many clean sheets. It's Danny Ings. It's Danny Ings that's sort of emerged as this budget forward hero. Again, looking at his numbers for the last 4 when he's really come into his own, he's averaged 4.5 points per game. He's had 3 big chances in the last 4, 7 shots in the box, so that's 2 more than Jimmy's managed, and it's the same as Vardy. He's only 5.9 million. I mean, he's down on his minutes. Hassan who loves hauling him off, so he's not played a full 90 once yet this season. Averaged 4.2 shots per game in the last 4 game weeks, and only Aguero's got more than him. 3.2 of those have been in the box. I mean, Danny Ings' numbers, Kieran. He's good. It's really good.
If he's still fit, come when their fixtures swing again, then he's definitely someone to look at. If he keeps up the stats, at least. Yeah, I mean, I just couldn't believe the numbers, and he's been getting the returns as well, albeit the goal against. His goals have been a little bit fortuitous in the league. Yeah, the Lloris tackle goal and the one where Zuma sort of bounced it in off his leg, but he did score some good goals in the. And Adrian goal as well, where Adrian kicked it into him. So
and their fixtures do stink to high heaven. So they got this Wolves away game, Leicester, Man City, Everton, and Arsenal. So they're not pretty, but Danny. Who would have thought, Kieran? Danny Ings, 5.9 million. That's pretty much the only sort of good thing I could say about them, because, like I say, their defensive output's been pretty poor, and their attacking stats, he's doing the best for them.
So there's Traore on the Wolves side quickly. 8, 3, and 16 in his last 3 fixtures, so it's not bad.
That's good.
But obviously, it's good. But hard to trust him. Doesn't really have an end product, but maybe he's getting that better. But 1.6% and at 5 million, he could be a real big differential if you want to go that way. I mean, assuming he's nailed on, which he has been for the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, someone to look at. And then obviously Doherty at 6 million, 2.9% owned. His minutes a little bit sporadic due to fitness and Europa League, but assuming he is fit now and ready to go, I can see him becoming a decent asset again.
Okay.
15-pointer versus Watford 2 weeks ago. Obviously I said there's probably a clean sheet here for them, and there could be one against Newcastle. They're obviously a good defence, and we know Doherty is a monster up that flank.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a shame he's 6 million. He's just so expensive. Europa has affected them obviously. So if he was 5.5, I'd be very, very tempted to get him in on Wildcard.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
But yeah.
Yeah, all right. Wolves loving. It's a shame, really, because there's players I like in the team, but I still think it's the Europa League that's put me off a little bit. But yeah,
it's such a shame there is no decent assets in their midfield.
Yeah, it's weird. Well, Coutinho will tick along, but he's not going to set the world alight, is he?
No, and then Neves doesn't really do much. And who else is there? There's no one really.
Dendoncker, 4.4 budget hero.
It's just Jota should have been midfield still.
Yeah, that would have made things
whatever.
Way more interesting. He's super injured now. All right, the 5:30 game on Saturday is the one we're all looking forward to. Palace against Man City. Palace have looked good, haven't they, this season?
Mm-hmm.
Really been impressed by them. Good options in defence, but not so many in attack. Is PVA or... you've got Kelly in your team, but has PVA entered your thoughts on the wild card, or is it a bit too pricey for you?
He is too pricey, but he has been doing really well. He's 1 point behind Trent and Ricardo, so 39 points of the highest scoring defenders in the game so far. So, I think I just deleted some of my text. 5.6 million owned, 12% owned. 5.6 million price, 12% owned. And his points so far have been, the last, I think it's 6 weeks have been 10, 6, -2 to 6 and 9.
Love the -2 one.
Yeah, despite the -2, if that wasn't there, if that was just like a 2 or something, he would have been the top scoring defender in the game. So, someone from Crystal Palace at 5.6 and actually scoring well, maybe we should consider him. But their fixtures are absolutely terrible at the moment. So, obviously, Man City this week. Then they got Arsenal away, then they got Leicester at home, then they got Chelsea away, and then they got Liverpool at home, which is when it rains, it pours for Crystal Palace. And their 6th place is looking very precarious in their league at the moment.
Yeah, it's stinky. It's funny. I was actually looking because I was thinking about PVA for a straight swap for Zinchenko because of a similar sort of price.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
but it's just that the fixtures are really poor. And then also when I was having a look at the Palace players, despite him doing so well, it's actually the whole Palace team which are looking good defensively. So I had to just double check. But Ward is obviously 4.6 million now. He's had a price rise of 0.1. He's on 32 points, so he's only 7 behind PVA for the season.
Yeah.
So for that sort of like 1 million price point less, you're not really, at the moment at least, missing out on too many. It's only PVA's attacking returns which are going to keep him up there.
I mentioned Cahill in the last video as well. Yeah. If he'd started from the start of the season, he probably would have been top scoring defender as well. Because he's on decent points already, and nailed on 90 minutes every week. Likes bonus, likes shots.
Yeah, I think he's got a good potential. Yeah, like I said, I think Palace are a really good defence to invest in and just sort of set and forget. I did that quite happily with Guaita, Hennessy last season, and they racked up save points as well as cleanies. It's a shame they're 5 million this season, but he's 5 million. Yep. Anyway, on the City side of things, we've got quite a few things to talk about, haven't we? Because Aguero had a small injury, but then he's been pictured training, so it looks like he's going to be okay. KDB, he's been training, and John Stones, who literally no one gives a shit about, he's been training as well. So they've got their 2 main players back, and they've got one of their bench players back. It's really great. Even though Stones, the point I'm trying to make is, even though Stones is back, he's not going to get in the team, is he?
No, I don't think he will either. He's been so unreliable that Otamendi and Fernandinho will probably just carry on. I don't think Stones gets near the team unless someone gets injured again.
Yeah. The point I wanted to make,
maybe Otamendi gets a rest, maybe just for one game.
Maybe. But worn out from all the falling over and bad tackles he's been doing? You reckon?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay,
he has played all of the games, like. Even Champions League, he's played all the games automatically because there is no other choice. So he is probably due a rest.
Yeah, I mean their defense is so poor. Like the numbers are. I mean, watching them, you can see they're all nervous as shit. I was going to say, got to keep this clean for the YouTube.
You said it already.
Oh,
you've already ruined it.
Oh god, all right. Yeah, but 10 big chances conceded in the last 4. That's the fifth worst in the league. Fifth worst. I mean, if you remember how stellar their defence was back end of last season, when Laporte was in there, they were just keeping clean sheet after clean sheet when they were going for the title. This season, it's just the dog's dinner back there. They're all slipping and sliding.
This looks like a clean sheet at least.
Oh no! It's like Flambard's back at the City back line. It's disgrace. Flambard's, of course, the world notorious water park where everyone slips and slides. But anyway, I can't see a clean sheet against Palace, Kieran. No way. Someone
who the hell's going to score?
Someone's going to trip Zaha up in the box. Probably Otamendi. Milivojevic is going to come back and score a penalty. There's no way City are keeping a clean sheet in this game.
You're going to put a bet on that?
Yeah. What do you want to bet on it?
Well, no, I think you should just for money.
Oh no,
not against me.
I'm not going to gamble. We'll gamble 4-point hits if you want to gamble 4-point hits. Okay, we won't do that. But anyway, yeah, not any faith in. I think that's sort of part of the reason why their attacking form has been so bad. They got no confidence at the back to build from. I mean, that Norwich game was a prime example. They conceded those 2 goals against Norwich, and they looked so, I don't know, scared going forwards, and they just resorted to very unlike plays from City with long balls and crosses into the box, and they did the same against Wolves. I don't know. It's been a strange time for City. You've still stuck with Sterling and De Bruyne on your wild card.
I mean, yeah, they've missed De Bruyne, haven't they? So the games where they've been crap is where De Bruyne hasn't played. So assuming he's fit, he should be nailed on, should play. I think he's probably captain material again. Obviously, we say Palace are doing well defensively, but with De Bruyne back in, you'd expect Man City to win this fairly comfortably. And I think I've got to keep faith in Sterling, and KDB's just too good to not have. Assuming he can stay fit after this, because if not, then he's waiting to be moved on to someone like Salah with other money, basically.
It's funny. Do you remember coming out the back of the last international break in Gameweek 5? Sterling had just played a blinder in that game against Southampton, hadn't he? And he's done the same against Bulgaria, got returns, and he's just had a really crummy last 4 weeks. So I hope he doesn't sort of get Man City-itis when he goes back again and he loses all his England form. I just wanted to say about the City's recent record against Palace isn't actually that great. The only one they've won in their last 3 was the one at Selhurst Park last season. It was one of the few games KDB played last season. He actually got 2 assists. Sterling got 2 goals, which I think was the first of only 2 times. So that game and the game against West Ham, he scored a brace or more in the Premier League away game. So he's not notorious for getting big hauls away from home in terms of goal scoring. But yeah, I mean, I would expect City to win this one, but I do think it's going to be quite close. What do you think? You think they're going to win? No,
yeah, like I said, like possibly a 2-0, something like that. I can't like I said, I can't see Palace scoring, but it's consideration to go for Aguero as well, but his away form isn't great either. But I don't know. Who would you go for out of Aguero and Sterling?
I'd probably keep faith with Sterling. Yeah, keep faith with Sterling.
Just the extra points from midfield is worth it, I think.
No, I agree.
And I think there's probably just too many better mid-price strikers compared to mid-price midfielders.
Definitely.
Because you're sort of forced into Maddison if you go with Aguero.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure about him. So
I think there's more goal-potent premium midfields than goal-potent non-premium midfields, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, good. Whereas in attack, they're all goal-potent.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
Okay. All right, should we talk about Liverpool Man U, the big one on Sunday, or is there any more you want to add on City?
No,
okay.
Let's go.
All right, okay. Liverpool. I read a very good stat that only one of Mane, Salah and Firmino has returned in the last 19 Premier League games against Man United, and they only returned once. So yes, not very good from the front three against United. It's a big game. United's form has been poor, but their defensive numbers statistically have been good. It's always a tight game, the derby. I think the last time Liverpool came to Old Trafford and had a good resounding win was when Gerrard and Torres were playing and Vidic was slipping and sliding all over the show. So despite Liverpool's great form, I do think it's going to be a tricky game for them. Do you think they're going to match City's record of 18 Premier League wins in a row? It was quite a big feat to do that.
Oh yeah, good point. I'm not sure, to be honest. But Liverpool are getting, Salah seems to be fit. He's back in training. Alisson's back again in training. Matip back as well. So yeah, they're getting a boost. I don't know. Like, Man United have been really solid defensively, and it's just the big game that they'll turn up for, and everyone will get a bit of hope, and then they'll lose to, I don't know, Norwich next week. But yeah, really, really tough to call, and tough to call points wise as well. I think it's difficult to not have, like, I don't want to not have Mane. I mean, it's tempting for me to just go Trent and Robertson, and then they're basically attackers, and then to have the Aguero, Sterling, KDB triple up for in. I mean, that's interesting, but obviously the Crystal Palace fixture is tough at the same time. So either way, it's not great. So I probably will, get Mane and Trent, and then just hopefully get Robertson eventually when I downgrade one of Jimenez or Wilson. And yeah, with Alisson back and their fixtures turning after the Man City game in Gameweek 12, that it's probably going to be essential to either have a double up midfield or double up defence, because you're going to need three at that point.
I think it's almost the top of the league at the moment. They're crushing it at both ends of the field. So just to back up what you're saying, basically they've scored at least two in 16 of their last 17. I think the Sheffield United game, the last time they were out away on the road, was the only time they've scored a single digit. Underperforming their XG, actually. Should have had a couple more in the last 4 game weeks. Their defence is looking really good, so 4 big chances conceded in the last 4, best in the league. I got some numbers on Salah and Mane for you, because I know you've been having this decision over the international break what to do with them. So the numbers are quite similar, really. So shots in the box, if I read out, Salah's had 11, Mane's had 10. Mane's bested Salah for big chances 5-3. Salah has bested Mane in key passes 7-1. That's quite a huge difference. So that sort of lines up with the thinking that I don't know if you saw an article James Pearce, I think, wrote in The Athletic online.
I didn't, but
basically talked about how Salah, he's having his best start to the season, sort of goals and assists wise, but it's more tailored towards seems like he's being more creative, which is reflected in those numbers, really. The expected points one is the one which is really interesting. So the last 4, the expected FPL points, they both should have had 26. But in reality, it's been massively favoured for Mane. So Mane's had 32 to Salah's had 19. So it shows, I think, really, that toward the end of the season, it's going to level out, and they are going to end up on really similar total points. And it's whether you can... I think 2 things, really. Whether you trust Mane enough to give him the captaincy, and can you handle the fear factor of missing out on the heavily owned Salah? That's pretty much all that it comes down to when it's owning both of those 2, or owning one of those 2 rather than the other one.
Yeah, it's awful. I'm not confident in losing Salah, because Mane can be... Yeah, he relies on goals.
He does,
he doesn't get much assists. He's always been that way. But he looks like he's on a rich vein of form. I don't see why it can't continue. I think it's a fool's errand to say that Liverpool can't score against Man United.
Yeah, I think
and there's no reason Mane or Salah won't be involved. Maybe Mane gets, I don't know, goal assists. That would be fantastic. But I think just for the saving, and like you said, they're pretty even. The saving of Mane for my team at this point is great, and I'm looking to get Salah in eventually. When City's fixtures change for Sterling, for example, and when Liverpool's get better. So Salah and Mane as a double up would be great at that point. There's obviously I did this last year, as I said before in other videos, that I got rid of Salah in it, and it hurt me. But I think this time it's going to be okay. I think.
Touch wood. It's an interesting game. Like I say about them. None of the front three returning very well. I remember the game last season where one of Ollie's first ones in charge, and it was just such a strange game because everyone had injuries.
I think
it was after an international break as well. Maybe I vaguely remember Firmino coming off as well. But yeah, it was just such a strange game, and I feel like that was one of those games where United had so many injuries. Liverpool were in great form at the time, and they really could have just taken that game by the scruff of the neck. And if they'd won, they obviously would have, probably gone on to win the title. An extra 2 points in the bag. I think it was ended up being a draw, but a really fascinating game Sunday afternoon. So looking forward to it. What do you think score wise then?
Like I said, I really don't know. A 1-0 Liverpool, something like that. Probably scrape it either way, wouldn't it? I mean, but for Man United side, they've got Pogba possibly back. I mean, there's Martial who's been training. Wan-Bissaka looks like he's going to be back. So that makes me slightly worried for Mane because Wan-Bissaka's just nobody gets past him. And then Shaw is supposed to be back as well. So yeah, they're it's a big four in terms of their starting lineup to come back in.
Yeah.
And it's going to probably give United a bit more confidence. Obviously, Rashford's got a blinder for England as well. So, I mean, yeah, that United could do really well here and surprise.
We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. I think.
Can you see them scoring? Because it's tempting to go to Liverpool double defense.
No, I could see Liverpool keeping a clean sheet. I mean, if Martial doesn't come back, they got Rashford through the middle. I think Van Dijk will do a number on Rashford. I think Rashford's more suited to playing wide, and Martial just. I don't know how. We obviously don't know how fit he is, but if he's going to come straight back into the team and play centre forward, well, it remains to be seen. I think it's going to be a Liverpool win, actually, sadly, but anyway.
And Pogba as well, like he's
just come back as
videoed on his Instagram of just being in like an actual ankle brace, and he didn't look like particularly comfortable. So I don't know where people are saying he's going to come back.
I wonder if United are just putting that out just to appease the fans a little bit. That Shaw, because those are big players for United. Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, Pogba, Martial. If the feeling going into the week is they're all going to be good, then it's obviously a good morale boost. But if it gets to the weekend and none of them are going to make it, I think United are just going to be holding on for as long as they can, really. All right, should we talk about the last game on the Monday night?
Yep.
Wait, did I get a prediction from you?
1-0 Liverpool.
I think Liverpool are going to win. I'll probably go with you, actually. I'll probably say 1-0. I think it'll be tight. A bit boring, we're both saying the same thing, so maybe I'll change that. I'll say 7-0 Liverpool. Right, last game, Monday night, Sheffield United against Arsenal, nailed on Lundstram clean sheet. No point even discussing Lundstram's bonus points because they're going to be 3. Goals, how many goals are you going to score? Really? At least 2. Big haul from Lundstram. Are you going to bench him? Probably. I thought you were.
I'm not playing him against Arsenal, surely.
God. Sheffield United looking good defensively though, Keek.
Yeah, but they're actually 15th overall for their XGC, which is 8.9 of the last 4 weeks. So when you look at that, it's way worse than you expect. So it's either going to go one way or the other. They're going to start conceding loads, or their XGC is going to go way down. Way down.
Yeah.
And I would expect they're going to concede against Arsenal, surely, right? But maybe not.
Look at the doubt. The doubt. It's creeping in.
The stats-wise doesn't back up their non-conceding of goals. And they're not, as I've said before, not immune to a thrashing.
Yeah.
So I think, I'm benching him in favour of Rico just because...
You don't think they're immune to a thrashing? See, I think the opposite there. I feel like they're the sort of team that will just keep it. I mean, look at that Liverpool game, for instance. They just love a little scruffy game like that. I can't see them ever conceding more than 2 goals in a home game this season, even against City. Yeah. But especially...
Well, I would like a 0 either way because I'm probably going to have Tierney, and he's so... I mean, Sheffield United's XG of expected goals has been 19th, so you can't really see any goals from Sheffield United, that's for sure. But obviously, Arsenal are terrible defending, but I'm hoping Bellerin and Tierney come back in and make it solid. So, 0-0 on Monday Night Football, that'd be fun.
That'd be exciting, I'm definitely not watching that. Arsenal have been quietly going about their business, though. They're only 1 point behind City now. Not been beaten in their last, 9 of the last 10, so they're looking quite solid. Like Tierney, I think it's an interesting time. I'd say an interesting time to get on them rather than a good time, because I do think the next 3 fixtures are kind of sticky. Sheffield United, Palace and Wolves, all decent defensive sides. It's whether Arsenal's sort of recent defensive good form that you were sort of bigging up last week can shine through, and whether Tierney's going to get on the act and attack in a sense. He looked great, didn't he, in I was going to call it the Milky Bar Cup. Carabao Cup. Should be called the Milky Bar Cup. What are the people at Nestle doing? But maybe some attacking returns from Tierney. I think of all your players in your wildcard, I think he is the puntiest, and that makes him by far the most exciting because his ownership is so low.
Yeah, and I'm fine to bench him against Liverpool and stuff like that. So I think it's Liverpool they got coming up.
It is,
isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm fine to bench him in that and play Lundstrom, Rico or whatever. So
wait, is it? No, they can't be playing Liverpool. They've already played Liverpool this season. They got beat at Anfield.
Okay, well you've got the
must
fixtures,
have got the fixtures wrong.
That's your bad.
That's my bad. Yeah.
But okay, so I'm fine to benching him if they've got a bad fixture, basically.
Okay, all right. Lacazette, we should probably just mention. Looks like he's getting back to full fitness. I think he was training lightly, so he could be posing a threat to Aubameyang's central striking positions the next couple of game weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be a bit of a pickle. What do you think about Aubameyang as a option? I mean, you've not talked to me about him as being in your wildcard draft. He's got high ownership, 27%, nearly as much as KDB and more than Mane. One big chance per game in the last 4, so his attacking numbers do look good. He's only had one double-digit haul this season, so I guess that sort of makes him maybe a bit like Kane, really, and they're consistent numbers, but not mega captaincy hauls. But I'm sure if we just stuck the captaincy on Kane and Aubameyang this season, you and I would have a lot more points than we do from our captains. So maybe that's not such a bad thing. And he loves a bonus point too, but he's not not really factored in your thinking, or?
I just don't fully trust him and their creativity as a team. Like I said before, they've got Torreira, Xhaka, and Guendouzi as their mid 3. But yeah, Bellerin and Tierney coming in could affect that creativity quite a lot. It could be much better. So no, I prefer Sterling, KDB, Mane compared to Abba. So. Although I don't know, maybe I should go Abba instead of Mane. That might be interesting.
Yeah.
But I kind of think that Tierney could possibly be enough. I don't know. What do you think about him? Or say on wildcard? Would you?
Yeah, I do
him?
quite like it. I feel like if I was on a wildcard now, I'd spread my team out a little bit differently. I think I'd have one City player, I'd have one Liverpool attacker, 2 Liverpool defenders, and then I'd go back to a premium striker, which is strange because I'd still keep the 4-4-2. But I do think I'd be looking at Aubameyang, Aguero, or Kane up front there, just because I feel like they don't offer more points than someone like Pukki or Abraham, but I think they offer more consistency, and I feel it's a strange one. I feel like I'd be way more comfortable captaining a premium forward than I am a mid-range forward. But I don't really have that same effect in the midfield, so yeah, I'd probably go back to a premium striker, but.
Yeah, no, I probably will consider Abba a bit more. Over the next few days, there's still plenty of time for me.
I mean, he was the Golden Boot winner last season, and he's shown no signs of slowing down. He was one of your big regrets last season because you had him for ages and you just never went through with it.
It's just the worry of Laka being back and him being benched. Because imagine I get him this week and Laka's fit to play and he gets his rest this week. That'd be shocking.
Yeah, that would be irritating. And that's the thing with Emery, you can't predict him. Yeah, full on bench in an Arsenal player.
And I don't know if Abba and Tierney are 2 Arsenal players is too much at that point.
I don't know, Kieran. They're third in the league. Looking good this season, to a degree. Although Arsenal fans aren't happy with Emery for some reason.
Might have another thing.
Okay, all right. Well, let's wrap up then with something which requires less thought. The Cuckoo Cub picks. I'm just going to change to put that up on screen. I think just so people can remind. We haven't changed screens much tonight because we did everything on Friday. Just a quick reminder.
Sorry.
I had Chris Wood. You had Buendia, didn't you? I think you did. Yeah,
Buendia. Yes.
All right. So I think it's my pick this week first. Or is it? I don't know. Is it? Might be.
But just
okay. I'm going to go for Matt Doherty of Wolves.
Oh my god! I actually had the same person.
Yes, I got that first. I got that first.
Well, that's annoying. Okay.
Who's your backup?
I mean, it was Harry Wilson. But
you're going to bail on Harry Wilson?
Yeah, I am going to bail. I'm going to go Bellerin instead.
Okay, Bellerin. All right, we better do backups because we've had a couple times this game week where this season where
Harry Wilson can be my backup.
Harry Wilson can be your backup. I'm going to stick with my Wolves defense. I'm going to go Big Willie Bolly as my backup.
All right, nice.
I'm doubling down.
I didn't think you'd ever go anywhere near Doherty. Damn. Okay. All right, nice.
All right, so captaincy then. Let's just put it back on this one over here. Okay, captaincy. We've talked about it a little bit. I'm on Abraham at the moment, but if KDB is declared fully fit by Pep on the press conference on Friday, I will most likely captain him in what is still quite a tricky game against Palace, but I think his quality is going to show through, and they need to win.
Yeah, for me, I'm not really sure at this point. It's maybe a City player or it'll be Tammy, I think.
Okay. Yeah, all right. We usually wrap up our transfers. You're doing 1 million, so it's difficult to work out what they are.
Yeah.
Mine, I'm either going to be really boring. I'm either going to save a transfer and not do anything, or I'm going to panic and change Pookie. But I'm pretty... if I did panic...
keep him.
Yeah,
keep him.
if I did panic, it'd be for Wilson and Jimenez. But I'm quite happy with Pookie for now. For now.
Yep.
All right, clean sheets. Do you want to pick out one of those?
Yeah, I've got Chelsea down. Arsenal, I think, will get one.
Yeah, so okay.
Yeah, Sheffield United a score. And then Spurs, I think you'll probably just get one against Watford.
I'm definitely going to back Wolves, just because I'm going to triple down on them. I think they're looking good.
Yeah.
I actually think as well, like we talked about at the top of the show, I actually think Luca Dean is going to come in for me, and he's going to get a clean sheet against West Ham. The numbers, like you said, the expected goals numbers for West Ham are actually surprisingly low. And I think that Saturday lunchtime game, could see it being a slow start for West Ham. And
Liverpool as well, probably one with Alisson, Matip, all back, everyone back fit. Trent barely played for England. I think that could be a clean sheet too.
Why is he not playing for England, man?
That makes sense.
All right, okay. I think that's about it. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, we're good. It's been long. Let's get out of it.
Okay, all right. Thanks for everyone for joining us. We'll be back next week with our Game Week 10 preview. Good luck for the weekend. It's subscribe. Okay, it's goodbye from me.
Cheers and good luck.